Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's college information session with Briar College. I'm here with my colleague Dwayne and Savannah Oxner from Briar. If you have any questions during this presentation, please remember to hover over the chat button at the bottom, click the chat and type in your questions, and we will get to those at the end of the session. So I will go ahead and hand it over to you, Savannah.
Thank you. So thank you all for joining today. I'm excited to information with. My name is Savannah Oxner, and I am an admissions counselor here at Briar College. Just some quick overview before I get to the bigger detail. Briar is an undergraduate liberal arts and science college. We are intentionally small. We have less than 400 students, and the average classes here are 6 to 8. We are all women. We have about 20 different programs of study, and I think that's it for some of the big. I also want to share that I am an alumna. I graduated in 2005 with a double major. I was an English and creative writing major and anthropology double major. I also did the education when I graduated from Super. I was my master's in classical English for several years before I came and joined the admissions office here. So I've been in the high schools with you all. I love and that's why we're listening now. There is a bit of a delay, so if you do ask a question and you interrupt me, please don't feel bad. It takes a second to I'll go ahead and get started. I have a couple quick videos at different points throughout here that'll just give you some better pictures and images from Briar, and I'll go ahead and here. So just a great bird view to give you a sense of how beautiful our campus is. Most of the campus itself is pretty centralized, as you saw there. I don't know why it's doing that to me. There we go. So you never have a 10-minute walk to any of your of the buildings that far apart, although we do have, as you can see, quite a lot of open area and undeveloped land. There are 18-mile trails that you can go hiking and back riding on. So it's a truly beautiful campus. And we have a virtual tour that is available. I will try to put up the link for that at the end in the chat, but we would love for you to join us. We do virtual tours at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. every day, and we personalize them, so we'll take you through and answer your questions in real time with those. So I'll go ahead and get started on the academics. We're excited to be intentionally small. Our faculty-student ratio is 7:1. Your average class size, again, is 6 to 8 students. A variety of some of an 8 accredited engineering program. It's an engineering science degree. Business is very popular, English and creative writing. Some of our most popular majors have pre-vet, and they are incredibly successful. The national average for getting into med school and vet school is about 30%. And for the last time, we've had about 100 students who've been able to go on to school and vet school. I apologize, they have decided to either mow or collect some things with a very loud truck. So I hope that you can hear it. We made some changes recently, and one of the things that we did a couple of years ago is we decided that we didn't want a gen ed program anymore. Schools have education program. You need math and you need science and you need a history. And it's kind of like playing hopscotch, trying to get everything. We decided that we wanted you to get the skills that you would get from that. So analytical thinking, competition, communications, get all of those, but in topical, timely courses that are very relevant for the 21st century and the problems we're facing today. And so instead of taking English 1 and Math 1, you're going to be taking 10 core courses over the course of 4 years, and they are all focused on women's leadership. They're all topical and timely. So there's some data, there's a course on financial literacy. The video that I'm about to show you is from one of those courses, which is Women and Gender in the World. And so I think that they're fantastic in the again, just taking one to learn writing. You're learning writing, you're learning all of those skills that you need, but you're learning the fascinating, relevant courses. Start this next one, about the course.
So Core 130 designed to prepare women here for entrance into the real world. In part, we celebrate the strides that women have made in history, but it seems to be they have faced and continue to face. And I feel like that knowledge will empower them as they go out into the world.
How it works, we have lectures on Mondays, and then Wednesdays we have a variety of speakers come in.
So I stick out in this in a lot of ways. I'm email as well.
Throughout the semester, we've had 11 different guests coming to speak. The topic of each week is determined by what students together.
And don't let somebody else compromise you.
Fridays we have debates. So we go to the library and it has two big balconies. Those used to be used for debating back then.
So there's an artist.
Students are asked to write a debate response paper where they're supposed to kind of synthesize all the information from the class lecture, the debate, and additional materials.
This class has helped me in the long run be able to collect a lot of research as it presents.
So I feel like the way it's put together, we're cultivating writing, researching, and oral. And then what we have to do is kind of string together a theme throughout the semester, and that really is women's leadership, women's empowerment.
By challenging pieces and leadership,
We have been talking a lot about what is leadership. I think a lot of people think, I don't have no intention of ever, why am I talking about women's? Well, I think my favorite definition that's kind of surfaced throughout the semester is expressive. You can lead the people around you without actually having an official title.
I haven't always really thought about myself being a woman, and this class has taught me there are a variety of definitions for what leadership is.
And then the lady
Julia Gillard, the former Prime Minister of Australia, is now at the Women's Leadership Institute, King's College in London. She calculated that it'll take 200 years to achieve equity as working opportunity for women, even at the rate we're going. But we can't afford to fall back. And I think that's where my passion is with this course. We need to, and we can only do standing where we come from and doing what we can to empower ourselves.
It's a fantastic light of what we're doing in those courses. I really wish that we had them when I was a student. I think that they're fascinating. I'm really curious about, especially on financial data, the economy and how things work. So that's a course that I would especially like to take. Another thing we'll do is do some mini courses, and some students have gone abroad through those. So there was an art history course that went to Italy for 3 weeks. So I don't know that at all. I had that when I was a student as well. What I'm talking about now, another change that we made a couple years, more than a couple of years now, but we're 2 years into the new calendar system, is we updated our calendar system. So most colleges operate on 15-week semesters, a fall and a spring 15-week semester. So a few years ago, we also decided to innovate our calendar system. So we now have a 3-12, 12-3 system. During those 3 periods on the end of each semester, or at the end of each year, those are times where you take one course at a time. It meets every day. It's intensive. You're only taking one course. Students do internships during those time periods. They do city-year seminars. They do special projects. But there are some courses that are designed to just run during that 3-week period. And some of those are the core courses. Thinking those, when they come in as a first year, they start design thinking, which is a really awesome introduction to how do you think about thinking. So we see some students come in and they've had some, really excellent education in high school, and some students are coming in who are probably more like I would have been, coming from a large public school, and get as much one-on-one challenge that I would have liked, and really getting a great introduction to this is what you need to be able to do in college. You have to be able to think outside of the box. You have to be able to think very differently about the kinds of thinking. So I think exciting course that everyone starts with. During the 12-week periods, those are more like your standard college semester. So you have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday course, or Tuesday, Thursday. You're taking 4 to 5 courses at a time, depending on what you're doing. And then, we start the spring with a 12 and end with a 3 again. And again, during those periods, we have had some exciting courses with everything going on right now with the coronavirus. I'm not sure how long before we'll be able to resume these, but we do have some awesome courses. Carrie Brown took a creative writing class to London for 3 weeks. Again, Annie Labat, professor of art history, took an art history course to Italy for 3 weeks. So there's some really exciting things that are happening then, and I hope that we'll be able to continue this before too long. A lot of professors were really getting excited and starting to design courses within their own discipline that could go abroad. So we were really excited to seeing that grow, and hopefully it will be able to again very soon. Another thing that we added are funds for experiential learning. We actually call them GEL grants. They're grants for experiential learning, and you are able to apply up to $1,000 that you can use for any academic purpose whatsoever. So some students would use them if they needed money to just help them travel abroad, they could use it. But also if an experiment and you need supplies and design something, use it for that. If there was an internship that you wanted to go and study, you would be able to use it for housing if you needed it, or transportation. Say you found an internship in Chicago, for example, that you wanted to spend the summer doing. More than likely, we have such a fantastic alumni network that we could find an alumna who would be happy to house you for the summer. Probably also feed you quite a bit. So there's a very good chance that if you went somewhere where we have a good mix of alumni living in the area, you wouldn't need to worry about that. But it could be used for any academic purpose. It's designed, you learn how to write grants during your second semester as a first year, and then you can start applying for it. You can either apply for it in sections up to 2,000 over 4 years, or again, if you need it all in one lump, then you can apply for it all at one time. But as long as it's being used for academic purposes, you're going to be approved, and that's what it's for. We have a fantastic most students are invited into this at the time that they apply based on their academic background. But if you weren't invited, you could also apply to be part of it. And what it allows students to do is take courses at an advanced level to really, really challenge themselves above what they would normally be doing. It's very similar to AP or IB that you would be taking in high school, as far as like it's that step above your normal classroom work. And we have courses, basically anything you can do, you can take them at that honors level. We're kind of transitioning into calling it the Presidential Scholars Program, so you may hear a little bit of both. If you were applying to Sweet Briar, we're kind of moving toward calling it the Presidential Scholars Program, and the president does actually work with the students who come in with that for all 4 years. She hosts some events that are special to those students. There's a special reading program that those students are involved in as well with the president, so they're actually having book club with the president on a regular basis, the president of the college. We also have several different honor societies on our campus, including Phi Beta Kappa, which is a national and really well-known honors program that I'm excited to be a member of. I want to pause for just a second and see at this point anything that I've gone over. Does anyone have any urgent questions that they want to ask right now? Okay. All right, well, I'm going to move on, and just remember that if you think of something, please let me know. So we do have a fantastic study abroad program as well. I'm highlighting the JYF program, which is our junior year in Paris program. But it's not the only option. So I'll talk about it first. You can go for a semester, a year, or a summer for the junior year in Paris program. You do need to be at the intermediate level. You need to be able to speak French at an intermediate level because all of your courses will be taught in French over there. But this is only one of the opportunities that you could take. So we send students all over the world. I've seen students go to Australia, Italy, Argentina, Germany, basically anywhere that you can find a program that you want to study, we're going to be able to make that happen for you. One of my close friends, Savannah Klein, graduated in 2016, and she was an environmental science student. And she discovered a program in Tanzania because one of her faculty members, a close advisor, found it and said, this would be perfect for you. And it's one that she never would have stumbled on her own, but she was really excited to find it. She loved the experience when she was over there. And then she actually ended up, it became her dream job. And she is now working for the company that she studied abroad with in Tanzania. One of her favorite things is that she gets to drive the great big truck that goes out and takes students out into the bush to see the animals and to see nature. But the roads are so bad that she actually wished that she had driving gloves because she was getting calluses just trying to hold the steering wheel so that the truck didn't get out of control. But we will basically work with you to send you anywhere to study abroad, as long as it's a program that's going to help increase your goals and what you're doing, and it's not a war-torn country. That's just about the only rule that we have. We're not going to send you somewhere where it's dangerous for you to go. Of course, everything with this is a little bit up in the air right now, so we'll see what happens with international travel. But again, if timing is an issue, or if you're just not sure, you want to get your feet wet, we also do have the 3-week courses that go abroad. So there are some nice little ways to get your feet wet if you're not quite ready to go abroad for a big trip. We have a very residential community here at Sweet Briar. Most of our students live on campus. So we guarantee housing for all 4 years. You're also allowed to have a car for all 4 years. Everything really is built around the fact that so many of our students and so many of our faculty and staff live on campus. It's a very family environment. About 60 to 70% of faculty and staff also live in homes and apartments around campus. They ask our students for help with babysitting and pet sitting. They eat in the dining hall for lunch and dinner most of the time. So you really get to see them. You get to know them very closely. In the dorms themselves, we have peer academic mentors, as well as RAs and RCs. So there are a lot of people around to help you just get more comfortable, get to know, aware of your resources, and also just take care of you if you're having a hard time for some reason. We have an academic resource center that is available to all students. That's actually in the library, but they'll help with time management, tutoring. If you need a tutor in a special subject, we can get you that. So it's a fantastic resource, and all of that is provided for free. That's just part of your tuition. We also have counseling and health services available. We do have counseling that actually comes to campus on a regular basis and sets up so you can just go and have appointments if you needed those. And then I think the food on campus is fantastic. I'm actually so missing it right now with everything being closed down with what's going on, but the food is amazing. Meriwether Godsey is our food service provider. They are women-owned, locally owned and operated, and they focus on providing as much food as they can that is locally sourced and sustainable. We're actually really excited. We just built a 27,000 square foot greenhouse that is about a softball's throw away from the dining hall, and we're going to be growing most of our produce there. So you're literally going to be able to look out of the window where you're eating and see that's where the lettuce was grown, that's where the tomatoes were grown. So all that's going to be incredibly local and well taken care of. And that greenhouse also will have a large bay that is just for student research in there as well. So I'm going to let Olympia Lahota take over for just a second. She's going to give you a quick tour of our residence halls and our opportunities for campus living. So I'll let her tell you more about that.
Hi, my name is Olympia Lahota, and I'm a current junior at Briar College. Today we're going to go visit some residence halls on our campus. We're in Upper Quad right now, and the hall that we're going to visit is Randolph Hall. Follow me. So the room that we're in right now is in Randolph. The standard size double. In all of our dorm rooms, we have twin standard beds. Each student is given a desk, a chair, a dresser, and a closet. Our closets are pretty large. You have the option of renting one of our micro fridges right here, where you can have a microwave and a fridge at the exact same time in your dorm room. Also know that in all of our residence halls, there are also kitchens supplied for students to use as well. All of our residence halls have a common area for students. You can do homework, watch movies, or just hang out. Let's take another look at one of our other residence halls. What we're about to enter is Metaglass. Follow me. So the first floor of Metaglass houses not only the post office, which students have P.O. boxes all 4 years of their residency, but also our outdoor program and an ATM. Let's take a look at another double. Here in Metaglass, you can see how 2 students have made things work with decorations on their walls and also 2 pieces of artwork from the Sweet Briar Gallery collection. This is called the Living with Art Initiative. Here in Metaglass, though you don't have dressers to move around, you do have built-in wardrobes. Next stop, Reed. Here in Reed Pit, this is one of our largest student common areas equipped with pool tables, a large TV, and vending machine. Home sweet home. Welcome to my dorm. As an upperclasswoman, I have the opportunity to live in a double, but as a single, so that means I don't have a roommate at this moment. Thanks for checking out some of the dorms with me. We hope that you visit Sweet Briar soon, and we'll see you later.
So that she is a junior, but that video for the dorms was filmed last year, so she is a senior. I'm gonna miss her very much. She is graduating. Normally we'd be having graduation this week. That's been postponed so that we can actually have that on campus in October, so I'll be really excited when our students come back and I can see them and properly congratulate them. One thing that she doesn't highlight that I want to add is that all of our dorms are heated and air conditioned. That is not standard across the country. We are roughly smack dab in the middle of Virginia, so it does get pretty hot and humid. Normally about this time in May, we haven't quite gotten there this year. It's pretty cold right now, but normally the summers are pretty warm and humid and the winters can get pretty cold. And so it's nice having heated and air conditioned dorms. And then again, as I said, you can have a car on campus for all 4 years. You don't really need it to get around campus. Campus itself is pretty close together, but if you want to use it to go into town, go to Target, Walmart, the movies, something like that, we are a little bit further away. So we'll move on. As I was saying, it's a highly residential community, and therefore so much of our student life is actually built by our students themselves. There are plenty of big things. We do some great big mixers that are organized by the college, some great big parties, but a lot of what's going on is going on because our clubs and our student leaders are involved in creating a really fun atmosphere. So we have about 20 different student clubs and organizations. Some of the, we got some that are highlighted here. I was actually part of the literary magazine myself. But I think it's important to highlight there are some, and they really depend on what you're interested in. So for several years, we had an anime club. I don't think we have one right now, but it just depends on how many students want to be part of that. We've had a Quidditch club before. I remember when I was on campus as a student, that was when Harry Potter was really getting popular the first time. That's how old I am. And I remember when the Quidditch club first happened and there were students running around on the Dell with broomsticks. So the Quidditch club has come and gone a few times. A couple of years ago, we had a student who came in and wanted to start a sign language club, and we didn't have one at the time. So she asked Gloria, who is the counselor at a college fair, about it, and Gloria said, "Well, sure, you can start it. All you need are a few friends who are interested, and you as a leader and a faculty sponsor." And so the student asked her, "Well, will you be my sponsor if I come to Sweet Briar?" And she said yes, because it was really late. It was late at night. It was a college fair and she was tired. But that student did come to Sweet Briar, and within the first week of classes, she came and Gloria agreed to be her sponsor. And we've now had a sign language club for 2 years that is really growing in popularity. They do events, I think, almost every week, or would be doing events almost every week in the cafeteria or in the dining hall that all students are welcome to join. So sharing what they're doing and just making it more widely available. We also have a gay and straight alliance. I think it's called GLOW. We have a Black Student Alliance. We have a Latinx group. We have, again, different clubs devoted to subject areas, but also hobbies. There's a cooking club. There's a club for international students. And one of the things that they often do is we'll put together recipes and teach students how to cook some of the foods from their homelands. So a lot going on there. I also talked a little bit about our alumni. I think this really comes up here as well. There are a ton of traditions at a women's college, at a small private college, that we pass on. One of my favorites is the Big and Littles. And so as you come in, when you're first year, you're going to be matched with a junior. She's going to take good care of you. And then hopefully at some point when you're a junior, you can also take good care of someone and just be like a mentor, be someone to help them just feel less homesick and get to know people and just have a lot of fun. The picture at the bottom here, this is a picture from step singing. She's not going to talk about it in the video, so I want to highlight on this just for a minute. This is a tradition that happens every fall and every spring. You can see the students are wearing these graduation robes that are maybe a little less what you would picture for graduation. These are ornamental robes that they wear once a month on the day of whatever graduation will be for that year. So if they're graduating on May 14th, they would be wearing this on the 14th of every month. And these are not the ones they wear for graduation, but they are passed down over the years. So you get it at the end of your junior year, it's passed down to you, and we'll start adding new things that are special to you. They get really excited about these. Sometimes they have to be retired because they get worn so much that they start to fall apart after many, many years. We have a museum on campus where we have a few of these on display that were passed down for like 30 years before they were finally just threadbare and falling apart. But they really make them unique to you and the things that you care about, and it's a fantastic tradition. And they're celebrating a tradition we call step singing, which we do fall and spring. The seniors are sitting on the stairs, just a small group of the seniors, and what happens is they take popular songs and change the lyrics and sing to the seniors in honor of the seniors. But all of the classes get sung too. So the seniors and the sophomores, for example, are rival classes. So the seniors might sing a few funny songs, kind of making fun of the sophomores and just poking fun at them. I'm not going to be able to think of a really popular song that is popular right now. So I'm going to throw out like Katy Perry Fireworks. Like you might change the lyrics to that and put together a fun song. So that's something fun. And those are the senior stairs and senior doors that they're sitting on. So that is their honorary spot. But I'm going to let a few of our students highlight some of their favorite traditions and some of the things that they love about Sweet Briar.
I think what I'm going to miss the most about Sweet Briar is probably the campus itself. I'm going to really miss the people. That's one of the main reasons why I came here all the way from Florida.
I'm also going to miss, the professors that have fostered my love for English and writing for the past 4 years.
The thing I'm going to miss is probably the traditions, mostly step singing. And step singing was definitely very emotional every single year.
The traditions make something that's very unique to this college, and I'm not going to find anywhere else, so it's going to be sad.
I will miss everything. I will miss how beautiful it is and all the people here and how much of a sisterhood it's become, which is cliche, but it is so true, and they are my family, and I will miss it so much.
Easy. I love her. No, why does it keep doing that? It keeps going backwards. Stop going backwards. I apologize. All right. So we also are Division III. So we have, we don't give athletic scholarships, but you truly get to be a student athlete at Sweet Briar. We block practices so that they don't interfere with classes. Rarely do games interfere with classes. So you truly get to be a student first, but also be a really strong athlete and participate. It's a fantastic program. We have 7 varsity sports: soccer, swimming, tennis, lacrosse, field hockey, golf, and cross country. We also have 2 club sports, volleyball and softball. And we have an equestrian team, and there are 3 different competition teams within the equestrian program. I think about 1/3 of our students are athletes on one of those 7 varsity teams. Another 1/3 of our students are athletes in the equestrian program. What I think is really interesting about that is about half of that group of riders are first-time riders. So you don't have to be a horse person to come here and try it. We have a fantastic riding center on campus. It's about 130 acres. We have about 50 school-owned horses. So if you wanted to learn how to ride, if you've never touched a horse, never been up close to one, this is a great place for you to come. And we would love to teach you how to do that. It's a fantastic opportunity. A number of students who came in with me who had never touched a horse or been near a horse when they came in as first years were competing and winning awards by the time we graduated. So I can promise you it's a fantastic faculty to teach you that as well. And then we have, I just think some amazing athletes. Our athletes are some of our best students. They really understand time management. They're healthy. They take good care of themselves. We have a fitness and athletic center on campus that has weight rooms, aerobics rooms, an Olympic-sized swimming pool. All of those things are there, but they're there for people who are varsity athletes, but also just anyone who wants to go use it. So I was not an athlete. I was not on any team when I was here, but I love to go and take advantage of the open pool hours and use that facility. And that is still available to all of our students. There's also courses if you wanted to become a lifeguard. We have a lifeguard certification class. And then once you are certified, you could be a lifeguard, and that could be a job that you work on campus, either at the pool or down at the boathouse. We actually have a couple lakes on campus, and we have a boathouse where students can go down and swim in that lake. So you can learn how to be a lifeguard and then be a student worker as a lifeguard if you were interested. So a lot of opportunities here. Again, we'd love to have you join us for a tour later, and we can go into more details on the facilities and those programs. I've highlighted this a couple times. Did I accidentally stop sharing? I did not intend to. I apologize for that. I am trying to get back my, okay. I think I'm back.
You're back.
Thank you. I also highlighted a couple times our alumni, and we have a fantastic alumni program. So many of them are active. They are working to help you with networking, help you find jobs. They are really strong. We are members of Alumni Fire, which is like a social media platform, kind of like a combination of LinkedIn and just alumni. So it's a fantastic resource there. And again, like they're going to take care of you. I know of people who moved, someone who moved to Georgia, for example, to Atlanta when she graduated, and the alumni found out about it, and they were asking her if she needed help finding an apartment, and if she wanted to meet up for coffee, and if she wanted to just meet up and have lunch. And so there were tons and tons of people reaching out to make sure that she felt welcome and knew that she had support there. And they are really, really wonderful for helping us with networking. And I am really struggling trying to just reach the button to go to the next. So I apologize for that. So another thing that we did a couple years ago is we reset our tuition. So we are a private school. So we normally private schools have what you think of as sticker price, kind of like a car. You see a price tag, but it's not what you're going to be paying. We cut off most of that a few years ago. And so what you're seeing down here for tuition is much closer to what you would actually be paying, although most students still are not going to pay that. We award merit scholarships at the time of acceptance. We award need aid based on your FAFSA form. So it's very important for all schools to send them your FAFSA so that they can show you how affordable they really are. 99% of our students are getting some type of aid. Most of them are getting a little bit of both. So it's a very affordable. I've seen, some students who are very, very needy, like I was Pell eligible. I was able to attend Sweet Briar thanks to the good graces of federal aid and need aid. And I've seen some students that I'm working with who have, roughly 4,000 left over after all of their scholarships and their aid and everything that they need to cover. And I've seen other students whose families are much more wealthy, who have a higher amount left over. So for any college that you're looking at, don't let the price fool you at the beginning. Always do your FAFSA, always get your financial aid package, and look at the overall cost in comparison, because it's going to be very different depending on what school you're looking at. So I'm going to hit the correct button this time. And so we are still accepting applications for fall 2020. One of the benefits of being a small school is we can look at you holistically, and we do still have space in our class. So there's no fee to apply to Sweet Briar. We do need high school transcripts for the review process. They can actually be unofficial. If you decide to come to Sweet Briar, then over the summer we would need to get your final official transcript from your high school. But for just the application review, we can use unofficial, and that works for college as well. If you were an early college student, for example, or a transfer student, we are test optional if you have a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or above. And we are happy to read letters of recommendation and essays, but they're not required. So that's entirely up to you. We're going to be updating these deadlines a little bit for the coming year. We will have an early action deadline, I think, of November 1st, and an early decision deadline of December 1st. Early decision is binding, early action is not. Early action is just to help you get that a little bit earlier. And our honors program deadline might move up a tiny bit because we'd like to have a few competitions, a few events on campus specific to that Presidential Scholars Program. So we might have that a little bit earlier, but I'm not quite sure of that at this time. These were this past year to give you a sense. We're hoping that we'll be able to have a similar calendar again this year. The big thing that changed is at the end of this year, our accepted student weekend was virtual for the first time ever because of the COVID-19 and what's happening. And we combined it with the spring open house. So we had a big virtual open house, which was a lot of fun and a real success. But hopefully come fall, we'll be able to offer some on-campus open houses again. When we have those, we offer in-person tours. We take you on a walking tour of campus that covers most of the main academic buildings. It takes about an hour and 15 minutes. We also have information sessions. We have some opportunities to sit in on active classes that are happening and meet with faculty. So you really get to see a little bit of everything, which is really wonderful. So again, I hope that these will happen again soon and you'll be able to maybe join us for one of those. Normally we would be doing visits year round. We have cut those down at this time, but again, we're offering the virtual tours that you can sign up for where we walk you through those specifically. And hopefully pretty soon we'll be able to open campus again for visitors to come in and do this in person. And then if you have any questions, here's kind of the big ways to get in touch with us in general. Once I stop sharing in just a second, I'm going to go and find the link to share with you should you decide to sign up for one of those virtual tours. We would love to have you for one of those. They take about an hour as well, but we're able to personalize it as much as we possibly can. We'd love for you to ask questions. We'll take you through, again, most of the academic buildings and some great information and just give you a little bit more in-depth information about Sweet Briar. So I hope that I have covered most of the big questions that students would have. If you have additional questions, I would love to answer those now. I am going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Like I said, I'm going to grab that tour link so that should you decide to sign up for one of those, you have that. And I just want to say again, thank you all for joining me today. I've been really excited that I was able to have some students to chat with. I do see, did I lose audio at some point? Oh, I have a lot of questions now. I apologize if I lost audio at some point. I've seen it pop up a couple of times and my internet was unstable and I'm not sure what was going on there because it's usually really good. So I'm gonna just answer a few questions before I go in and grab that link. I see that we have questions about students with dietary restrictions. That's a great question. We're actually really excited. We can provide really excellent care for students who have dietary restrictions. It's standard that we always have vegetarian options in our dining hall, but we also label the food very, very heavily. So sometimes I'll see salads that are just look amazing. They've got salads that they put together that have lots of ingredients, and I'll be just about to go and get some, and then I'll see that it has tree nuts in it. And it's like, well, crap, I can't have that. That's not for me. So they do a really good job of labeling all of the foods. And if you have serious dietary needs, we work really hard with our staff. Like they can put something together just for you. It's one of the benefits of being so small.
Okay, I found this on the web.
Let's see. So retention rate between first and second year, I think that is about 70 to 75%. And that carries up to about 80% over the course of all 4 years. I have worked over the past couple of years with a few DACA students. We don't report that. It's been interesting for the past couple of years with some of the political things that are going on. We work as much as we can to provide as much aid as we can for those students. Sometimes we can meet, almost full need. It just depends on the student and the situation. But we will work with students as closely as we possibly can to get them. I don't know the percent of our students that are Pell eligible. I would say the last time I spoke to financial aid, I think it is a decent chunk. I wouldn't say it's as many as 50%, but I'd say we have a large percentage of our students who are Pell eligible. And we work to close the gap as much as possible for those students as far as how much they have in financial aid. Our students who apply for fall 2020 eligible for scholarships and grants, they are. So again, we award merit scholarships at the time that you apply. We award need aid as soon as we get your FAFSA, and we can put that together. We do not have special scholarships outside of standard merit scholarships. So when you apply, there's not a special scholarship for specific programs or specific interests. They are all based on your academics and your background, how well you've performed. And then the need aid is based solely on your FAFSA and your family situation. But we do not penalize students for bringing in outside scholarships. So if you went out and you won a Pepsi scholarship for $5,000, we're going to deduct that from your loans. We're going to give you the benefit of that because you worked hard for that. How have we supported students through the pandemic? So we went virtual very quickly, as a lot of colleges have, and we have been adapting, because one of the things that Sweet Briar does really well, and one of the things that makes us who we are, is that we provide excellent small classes and in-person classes. So it's been a little bit of transition for all of us, but the students are loving it. They've got some really great attention. We have still been able to keep up the small one-on-one attention. It's just a little more virtual than it would normally be. But I've been able to catch up with some of our student ambassadors who've been helping with some of our virtual tours, and they're loving it. They're really excited that there's Zoom and that they're still able to see their professors and interact. So that we've had even a few students who've stayed on campus, and international students who couldn't get home, who are still on campus living in the residence halls, but doing classes virtually. We are wrapping up this week. This is actually the last week of classes for us. So that will be wrapping up soon. We postponed graduation, but we're actually planning a virtual celebration for Thursday. Thursday was supposed to be graduation, or one of the start graduation events. And so we're actually planning a surprise. Probably shouldn't be talking about it, but I've seen emails going around where we're going to get as many of our faculty and staff who are working involved to write the names of our graduating seniors on signs, and then we're going to film a tour of us driving our cars to do kind of a virtual graduation celebration for the students, because we miss them and we want to be able to celebrate for them what should be going on right now. I would say, what state and country do the most of our students come from? In this first year class, we actually had a little bit less than 50% of our students came from Virginia. Normally about 50 or a little bit more than 50% of our students are in-state. And then outside of that, some of the most popular states are North Carolina, Maryland, New England in general. A lot of students from the New England area, and New York and New Jersey, Texas, a few from California, from Colorado. So outside of the closest states, it's kind of a mix, but they come from all over the country, and we're really excited to have that diversity. Outside of that, there's no one country that they come from, but this past fall, we had students come in, had a student from Nepal, Hungary, Brazil, we had a student originally from Nigeria, so just a wide mix of students, one from Australia. So they come from a little bit of everywhere, and those were first year students. We also had a student graduate recently who was from China. So we've had students come from a little bit of everywhere as far as international students go. I think that definitely Sweet Briar would be a great choice for a student coming from anywhere in North Carolina. As far as climate and just the way things look, it's a similar look geographically, but we have a lot of students from North Carolina, a really great group of students. So you'd be able to probably meet somebody who knows a little bit about where you're from. Again, I work with students from North Carolina, so I would love to work with you in particular and answer any questions that you have. Racially, our diversity mix, we are predominantly white. After that, the largest group of students that we have are Black and African American. I don't have the exact statistics on that, but I think it's close to about a quarter of our students, or a little bit more. After that, then the next group would be Hispanic students, and then Asian students. We are working to grow our diversity in all ways. So, here within the U.S., but also international students. But I think we also have a really great mix of students demographically. So we have, students who are like me, who are Pell eligible, who we're needy, who are rural. We have students coming from urban areas. We have students coming from various religious backgrounds. We have a really nice diversity of students in all different realms. And then, have we made any changes to the admissions process for fall 2020? Not for fall 2020. One of the nice things is that we are so small that we are able to look at every student holistically. We don't need a lot of time to review your application. We don't need a lot of pieces. So we are still working with students in a similar capacity for fall 2020. What has changed right now is that we're not allowing on-campus visitors, and that is part of the Virginia rule for shelter in place. I think technically until June 10th, we were supposed to be under kind of a lockdown in Virginia unless you were going to work or special places. They're going to be easing some of those restrictions this week, and so very soon we may be able to open up to visitors in a different way, but we've just been trying to respect the policies that are being set by government officials. We are allowing students who have been accepted, who are trying to make their decision, to schedule driving tours to come visit campus. So if you are able to schedule a driving tour, one of us would escort you around campus. Like we would drive the lead car ahead of you and give you a tour by cell phone, which is fantastic. I've done a couple of those so far, and it's really nice to have that one-on-one. granted you're on the phone, but you're here in person, you're getting to see things, you can see how beautiful campus is. And again, I'm just hoping that very soon we'll be able to have those in person again, maybe with some 6 feet distance rules, but we have a nice spread out campus, so I think we have the capacity to be able to do that. So I'm going to grab that link that I was telling you about, if I can get my computer to behave, and I would love for any of you to join us for a virtual tour. Again, those are at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. So I'm just going to drop that here in the chat. Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. I'm also going to drop my information in here specifically. So I work with students from North Carolina, South Carolina, Colorado, most of New England, and New York and New Jersey. So I work with a wide variety of students, and I would love to answer any questions that you have. I love what I do, and so I'm really dedicated to helping students find a place that's going to make them feel comfortable and be a good fit. But I don't believe there's only one college for a student. I believe there are lots of different places, and it's a matter of finding the best one for you and your situation. So I'll go ahead and put my information in here, and I would love to have any kind of conversation with you about anything. Put my office work number as well, so it's my email and my phone number. And again, I would love to answer any questions and follow up with any of you. And again, if you're interested in applying for fall 2020, we are accepting applications. There's no fee, there's nothing that you're going to have to pay. You just need to get your FAFSA sent to us as well, and we'll be able to put together everything. You'll be able to see how affordable Sweetbriar is. If you've got any early college classes or anything you want to transfer in, we also do a free credit evaluation, so you would see where your courses would transfer in without paying anything. So I think it's really great to be able to give you everything in that big picture, and you don't have to spend any money to decide if Sweetbriar could be a good place for you or not. So I'll go ahead and pause again for a second if anyone wants to add any more questions, or if the hosts want to add anything. And I just want to thank everyone so much for me being able to be here today.
Thank you so much. So if anyone has any additional questions, please put them in the chat box now. While we're doing that, I just wanted to remind everyone that we do have a survey that I'm linking in the chat. So if you'll please fill that out about this workshop today. Just a reminder, we are doing a raffle for those who fill out this form. So the more forms you fill out, the higher chance you get to win some money. Another reminder, we have a full schedule of workshops this week and next week. And if you can't catch those while they're happening, you can catch those on our YouTube channel.